I keep thinking I have like these big ideas and I'm like, oh, I know what's wrong. I know what's happening. This is a great discovery. And then I'll start talking about it or thinking about it, and then like 3 minutes in, I'm like, what? I remember having an identity crisis a while ago. It had to do with me low-key accidentally going off my meds. But anyway, I had this whole thing about like, what's right and wrong. Right and wrong don't exist. There's an opinion for everything. And nothing is real. And thoughts are thoughts. But they're not real. And the world's ending. And everything is paradoxical. So I mean, it's like that where I was at before, but it's not at all. Hello and welcome back to another video. Today is Tuesday, March 27th, and I'm going to be talking about my identity crisis, or self-discovery. This kind of carries on from my past video, if you saw it last week, about me feeling really bored and just kind of off, where like I can't focus enough to make a video, and I still kind of feel that way a little bit, but I'm gonna do my best. So as I mentioned in my last video, I feel like I'm at a constant state of waiting. I've also noticed that I have kind of these like fixations on things, or like I'm so fixated on doing something that it becomes like a distraction because I think about it so wholly, like I have to put my whole self into what I'm doing, which could be like sort of an OCD symptom or like an anxiety symptom. Whatever I decide to do with my time is a concrete outlet for my unconscious feelings, if that makes any sense. Then I had the realization that it's only been 4 days of spring break, and at first I'm like, oh, I'm doing so well, I'm able to keep myself occupied, but then thinking about the whole week and the whole extent of time that I'm gonna have to occupy myself just sends me back into the cycle of, oh, I need to distract myself, but I can't distract myself. I don't know. But this does tie into the actual thing that I'm going to be talking about today, which is the fact that I took a personality test last night. Well, since like we had to do a personality test specific for an assignment, I thought about the other popular personality test known as 16 Personalities that was really popular a year ago? I don't know. I do remember taking it when it was more popular, but it was kind of rushed and like I didn't really think through my answers as I was doing them. Oh, this is the person I know I am, or I know myself to be because I see these patterns, but the patterns could also be mistaken for my mental illnesses. Like maybe I'm not as rigid and organized of a person as my OCPD makes me feel like I am. So anyway, this time around I decided to answer the questions truthfully based entirely on how I actually felt, not how I think I am normally. Does that make any sense? I don't know. But like how I am deep down inside, like when no one else is around, kind of. Like who I truly am without like masking it over the assumptions or the labels on which I make me seem to be in my life. My result was the Advocate. Which is actually the rarest personality type. Essentially, what I got from reading about it is that advocates are very driven, like they are always motivated and they are passionate and there's something that they are striving towards, which is true, like I'm a very determined person. They have to find meaning or purpose or value in everything they do, and it has to align with their morals. This is actually probably another reason why I have such a hard problem distracting myself, because I can't just do meaningless things for very long because it doesn't entertain me enough. Like I always feel like I need to be educated or learning something or like turning my mind, which is again probably why I'm always thinking about big ideas like my identity and who I am in the universe, because I need to find some sort of meaning to keep me going. The role, or whatever it's called, is a diplomat. Diplomat is defined as a person who can deal with people in a sensitive and effective way, which is debatable because, you know, social anxiety, but that's another one of the things where social anxiety is either the mask that I put on myself to like identify myself, or that blinds me from like realizing who I really am. So like maybe I am really good with people, but I wouldn't know that because of my social anxiety, if that makes any sense. But it's also about like equality and finding balance with. It actually does kind of make sense because I've talked about in a few previous videos that I'm always looking to find balance, and I struggle with it so much, but I know that it's so important for me. But also just that, like, the strategy or task or like coping mechanism that advocates turn to is to always improve. But that's also something else I strive to do, which is why I'm still talking about my weird feelings, because I'm trying to figure this out, because I just want to find meaning. It's kind of ironic because I always consider myself to be a problem solver and an analyst and an observer. Like, I go into so much detail and I think so hard, and I tend to think also that I'm very logical. Maybe it is because I have anxiety and OCPD and all these things that make it hard for me to find actual logic. Any personality test that I've ever taken, or really any situation in my life, has proven to me that I'm not as logical as I think I am, because my logic is flawed. And I think it's flawed due to my natural emotional state of being. I do know that I'm a very emotional person. Like, I love that I care so much about others, and I know I'm very passionate in, like, whatever I care about, I'm very passionate in it, which might also be why I think that I'm so obsessive, just because I have so much passion and emotion. I just used to always think that that was, like, kind of part of me, but, like, I was really the analyst, which I am. So, like, I know, like, I can't base this entirely on a personality test, because I know, like, my tendencies aren't entirely what it talks about, because I know I need to get my emotions more under control so I can live a more manageable life. But I also am not sure how to control my emotions, or if I need to control my emotions, like, rather than just letting them be and, like, being okay with living and stop trying to take control of everything. It's kind of what I'm constantly doing, trying to figure things out and discover things. Like, maybe I just need to give it a rest and be like, okay, this is who I am, it's time to start embracing and accepting it and letting my feelings out in a healthy manner, even though I'm not always sure what my feelings are, you know? Like, distracting myself from what? But, like, all I really have is some sort of flawed logic right now. So how am I supposed to take control of my emotions and my life in a healthy way without letting that, like, manipulate my mind? I also have a psychology project kind of coming up that I'm supposed to be thinking about, and believe me, I'm always thinking about it. But it's where you have to set a SMART goal, and I keep trying to figure out what I should do to help me out here, because obviously I'm having some sort of crisis. Maybe it's not an anxiety crisis, it's just a how do I live with me in my mind the way that I am crisis. Should I look into some more self-discovery and figure out who I really am, and, like, how I can best work in my life with myself and relationships and just surviving in general? Or self-confidence, because maybe if I raise, like, how I feel about myself, I will be able to handle things better. Rational thinking, like I said, how to make my flawed logic not so flawed. Or just an action plan to living my best life and getting healthy, eating healthy, exercise. Well, thank you for watching. I'm not sure what this was, because I'm just as lost as I've ever been. Thank you for watching. See you later. Bye.